All right. Um, so I'm gonna be doing another replay review. Um, just give me a second before I start. Just need to make sure that a few things are in order. Okay, cool. I think we're good to go. So this is a replay review of an Archon 2 player um, that mostly plays in the mid lane. Um, the player is Frog the Waz in this specific game, and he's playing Visage. Um, so yeah, let's get into it. Um,
This one's in the
Prepare for
bag.
battle.
It's in the bag.
all right, so I just want to check out your starting items really quickly. Seem like pretty standard Visage items to begin with.
In the bag.
I am surprised that uh, your teammates didn't give you a set of tangos, but that's not a big deal. Maybe it's an unranked game as well. I'm not really sure um, what the case is. Um, but I also noticed that for some reason you don't have an observer ward with you. Um, I would ideally like for most mid laners to pick up
30 seconds to
an
battle.
observer ward that you can place either on this hill if you're on the die side, um, or even in this area, just so you prevent enemy heroes from ganking you in the early game. I'm just gonna skip this a little bit.
Battle begins.
So you are facing a Death Prophet in the mid lane. Um, okay, just gonna go through the laning phase quickly. So this is something that maybe you should think of and consider. Um, since you know that you are laning against a Death Prophet, um, 9 out of 10 times, you will see the Death Prophet using their first skill to secure range creeps, and even use Spirit Siphon to, harass you as much as they can. Um, so I would consider maybe even getting a magic stick. Um, if not now, if not as your starting item, like the next immediate item right after. So right now, I would probably try to get a magic stick. I can see that um, your your opponent is obviously disconnected right now. So you do have a bit of an advantage in the beginning.
Radiant's middle tower
Okay, I'm
is
gonna
under
skip through
attack.
this. Um, yeah, I know that the enemy hero's AFK. Um, so I'm not gonna like say too much right now. I'm just gonna continue watching and see what happens. Okay, so you skilled Grave Chill and Gravekeeper's Cloak. Pretty standard. Death Prophet does have higher base damage compared to Visage. Um, so the likelihood of you getting outclassed is quite possible. So already over there, you missed out on 2 stick charges. Just like, letting you know. Um, okay. So over there, I'm glad that you're trying to harass the Death Prophet. However, I don't know if that's the best situation or the time to do it. Mostly because even though she is under your tower, you choose to use Grave Chill and um, try to attack her, but at the same time, there are 2 um, ranged creeps that are hitting you. So I think overall you end up taking more damage than the Death Prophet does. Hey Boosh, I just started doing a replay review. Um, I barely just started, so just going through your laning phase. Cool, that's fine. I was just talking about your starting items. I think these are pretty like standard starting items for a Visage. The only thing that I would have considered is maybe also getting a magic stick, just because you are laning against a Death Prophet. And usually when you lane against Death Prophet, you expect Death Prophet to use a Crypt Swarm to secure range creeps, and maybe even use Spirit Siphon to harass you out of the lane. So it's just something that can help you, obviously survive a little better in the lane. All right, I'm gonna keep playing. So in this case, I know you chose to harass Death Prophet using your Grave Chill, but I think you did miss out on if both of the range creeps, if I'm not mistaken. Just gonna double check. Okay, you get that one. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so it's not too bad of a trade. But ideally, I think if you could have avoided taking that damage from the range creeps, that would have been a lot better for you. It's fine. Um, yeah, so I assume that you play a lot of mid lane. Um, and usually when you do play mid lane, um, what you want to try to do is stay in the lane as long as possible and kind of kick the enemy out of the lane. And the only way you can kind of do this is by having more regen and more resources than the enemy. Um, so you can see that even though the Death Prophet um, kind of came into the game much later, because I think she was disconnected for a bit, you will see her like picking up pace quicker. So I'm okay. So I see that you're rushing a Midas. I'm okay with that. Yeah, I really think that getting a magic stick in this specific lane would have allowed you to survive a lot better, um, and also like be able to harass the Death Prophet as well. Yeah, for sure. Midas is really good in this patch. I won't disagree with that.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Invisibility.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. It does seem like a pretty static lane. If I'm being honest, like there's not much you can do, but what you
Dire's
want to
top
try to
tower
do
is
is
under attack.
um, pressure the DP in the lane as much as you can and try to like take away resources from her. Um, so although you rushing Midas will allow you to farm a little better into the mid game, um, it doesn't really
Is under attack.
help the team that much. And because you are a mid laner, that's something that you want to keep in mind, you know? Um, yeah, so like TP is much stronger. I would have probably considered getting a level in Soul Assumption now, like at level 5 at least. Um, because it would have I think evened out the damage trade. Um, but anyways, okay. So I see that you guys have like 3 observer wards in your in the shop. I would honestly consider maybe putting up to like um around this area, maybe like one in the top area and maybe one over here. I can see that your ally has placed one for you over here, but um I think um like being a mid laner, like you need to kind of like look after yourself. Um, so I would probably just get um 1 or 2 observers myself if I were you. Gonna skip this really quickly. Um, okay, so in terms of net worth, you're currently third. Um, last hits, you're on top of last hits. Cool. Um, okay. Okay, I'm just quickly gonna look at your team's item build as well. Um, wait, I don't know what happened to my camel Angra. Okay. Okay. Um, cool. So I think so your Necro is rushing a mech. Um, you have a disruptor that's getting mana boots. Monkey King that's rushing phase. Cool. So the thing that like you want to keep in mind is in this specific game, you're the tempo setter for the whole game. Um, Necro is the one that ideally like helps like sustain the team. Um, yeah, yeah, and so like the way that I see it, right? Um, I definitely think that you're the tempo setter in this game. You should be the one that um tries to pressure lanes. That doesn't necessarily mean that you need to have um hero kills. It's just about like pressuring the enemies out. If you get a kill, like well and good. But if not, like at least you can pressure the tower, right? Um, but rushing a Midas doesn't help you do that. I think um if I were you, I would probably rush a drum, for example, because it gives so the thing here, right, is because you don't have a magic stick and because you don't really have a way to like sustain in the lane, the same way that the Death Prophet does, right? Like she already has a bottle. And I don't think I noticed her using the bottle, but maybe like she already got like a rune already. And so she's gonna be able to out sustain you in the lane. And that's the problem that I see so far with the build that you're going with. And I think in most games, like rushing Midas, getting Vlads and I think Assault and a Solar Crest, like that's a pretty like standard build for Visage, right? But you do have to keep in mind uh what the enemy heroes are capable of. You need to keep in mind like what are the timings for the enemies and like what are your timings. I would say um for your side, like for the Dire side, it's much more early game and like mid game oriented. It's gonna be very difficult for you to push high ground versus a Spectre and a DP and uh, a sniper, right? So you want to try to have as much impact as possible around the map, early to mid game sort of, and that's gonna help you like snowball into the late game. Ideally, like this game should finish before like the 35 to like 40-minute mark. And I can see that like your allies are like already like getting gone on, which is fine. Like sometimes like there's nothing you can really do about that. But just making like changes to your item build, for example, like can have a huge impact.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower has fallen.
Okay.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Okay, you get your Midas. But at the same time, you see that Death Prophet already like is able to make good usage. Sorry, not usage, but make good use of a bottle by getting like filling it with the DT rune and then just like pressuring your tower immediately. Um, I would even consider maybe going for um a Helm of Dominator. I know that it's not as good as it used to be. Like it doesn't give the same like AoE damage output that it used to. But it's still um it's a good utility item. It's a good like pushing item. Um, it's a good like team fight item as well. Especially like if you're comfortable microing different units. That's something that I would highly recommend, especially in this game, right? Just because A, you're having issues just like sustaining the lane. And I think Helm gives pretty good regen, right? Like it gives 6 HP regen, 6 attributes, and 6 armor as well. Yeah, fair enough. Um, yeah, I mean, so like one thing I would do, right, is just
Middle tower is under attack.
before the laning phase starts, just by having a look at the enemy heroes, and trying to understand what your objective in the game is. In some games, it's gonna be like the standard visage build, right, where you essentially just plow down heroes and like you plow down towers, and it's like very easy for you to do. But in this game, I don't think it is going to be that easy, just because of the lineup that they have. So you want to try to be a little more tanky, I would say. Um, you want to be able to um, add more value to your own team as well. Help them like sustain better. I know that um, that's also partially Necro's job, but I think in this game, like you kind of divide that task like between you and Necro. Okay.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, I mean, the issue so far is uh you guys are getting pressured like both in the mid lane and in the bottom lane. So there's nothing you can do right now except for just stay here and like maybe try to defend the tower. Um, but like I mentioned earlier, like the item build that you go and the skill build that you go really like helps you do those kind of things. Sorry. gonna quickly forward this. Okay. All right. Okay. I think yeah, I think Death Prophet gets um another rune. Another thing that you want to keep in mind, especially like when you're playing mid lane, and I'm sure you know this already, but it's just being able to control the runes every 2 minutes. Um, Even if you don't have a bottle, um, just being able to like deny it with your summons, for example, right? That's something that I would consider and like highly recommend that you do. Just because like you want to shove this DP out of the lane and like make her go somewhere else, right? Like you want to try to defend this mid tower. But by her getting as many runes as she can possibly have, it's kind of working against your favor, unfortunately.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Okay,
Dire's
okay,
bottom
so
tower is under
you
attack.
managed to get a kill there, which is good. The Death Prophet did obviously overextend. Um, and now you have three enemy heroes pushing your bottom lane. Um,
Dire's bottom tower is under
okay,
attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
okay, so you start moving towards bottom. That's good. A good stun. Well played. I am surprised that you're running away from the Skyrat though, because he did use his ulti, and you could easily use your soul assumption on him. Um, you're pretty strong right now. You know, you're level 13, compared to level 7 Skyrat that is very low on mana and doesn't have his ulti as well. And you had soul assumption, I think with three um, recharges, I think. Just a small thing that like you want to keep in mind. Like if you know that you're like one of the strongest heroes on the map right now, um, I would just try to like keep the enemies on their toes. Yeah, easy kills.
Radiant's middle
That was a
tower
good kill.
is under attack.
Okay. So you guys are getting
Radiant
the bottom
structures are
tower, which
fortified.
is good. Um, but I don't see anybody going top,
Radiant's bottom
um,
tower is under attack.
which I would have
Radiant's
kind of
bottom
expected
tower has
either you or
fallen.
like someone else to go top. Um, I think at this point, what would have made a lot more sense for you is to start making your way um, to the top lane and start um, farming this area of the jungle. I know that the your middle tower is pretty low,
Dire's middle
but at
tower
the same
is
time,
under
like
attack.
um, if you look at your current like HP and your mana pool, there's no way that you can um, try to defend this tower. Um, Maybe you have like salves being shipped out,
Dire's
but even then,
structures are
Just
fortified.
what the doctor ordered.
Dire's middle tower has
okay,
fallen.
you do get salved up. Um, but you know, this is where like a different set of items would have probably helped you defend that tower better and just help you like keep your HP and like your mana pool up. So something like getting drums, maybe even getting a helm is what I would recommend. Um, but it's obviously situational. Um, I think this game I would have definitely gone drums if I were you. Um, helm is like a yes or a no. Um, Maybe even rushing a solar crest that could be okay. I think Vlad's is is a good item. But again, it's like um, it's situational, right? In this game, you only have a Monkey King that can really benefit from uh the lifesteal and the damage aura that Vlad gives. Obviously your summons also benefit from the damage output. But overall, right now, just like looking at your team composition and like the item builds that your team has, Necro so far is it only has a mech and an arcane boots. And most of the damage output that comes out from the Radiant team right now is mostly I want to say magic damage, and partially physical damage as well. Um, but you guys don't have a pipe, for example, right? And I don't know how soon the Necro is gonna go for a pipe. So going for a Vlad's over going for a pipe is something that I wouldn't recommend in this specific game. Like if you were to go for a Vlad's, I would probably have you go pipe instead. Just because it's gonna help you survive and like your team to survive extra longer in fights. Okay, I see that you're queuing up an Axe. Um,
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
okay, so you know just by looking at like this this single team fight, it's very clear that you guys are actually much stronger than the Radiant team is right now. So I would try to um like make use of that advantage. Just because your heroes can sort of like pressure the enemies like much better uh, than they can to you. Um, I would emphasize on increasing survivability and increasing like aura items. Like I know you mentioned lads, but in this case, I would rather you go for a pipe instead. Um, and I don't know how much um, rushing an axe will help you um, snowball in the direction that like you want to, right? I do think that having that extra summon is nice. Um, but I don't think it's much of a value add in this specific game. I think um, having drums and maybe even a pipe would have been a lot more valuable to your team and to you, and obviously your summons as well, right? Um, so that's what I would probably do if I were you. Okay, good stuns. Although I don't see the need for you guys to be
Dire's
overextending
top
like
tower
this.
is under attack.
Yeah, Disruptor's definitely dead.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Ideally, like, you obviously want your Necro to be rushing a pipe, but clearly, like, you're the richest hero
Dire's
on the
bottom
map right
tower
now.
has fallen.
Um, and sometimes like just um going for that team item like makes all the difference in a game.
Dire's bottom tower is under
There's
attack.
some games when I've played like position 5. I've played Shadow Shaman and I've had to go get a pipe because nobody on my team like wanted to get a pipe. But these are things that like you kind of have to do, like um, you're not always gonna get the best teammates. You're not always gonna get people that like fully understand like what item build
Dire's
to
middle
go and
tower
when to
is
go.
under attack.
Um, okay, I'm gonna skip forward a little bit. Okay,
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
so like I mentioned earlier, I I feel like most of the game you've basically like stuck in this area of the map, which is fine, but I do think that your hero is capable of putting a lot more pressure on the map. So that's something that
Radiant's middle tower
I
is
would
under
want you
attack.
to like keep in mind.
Radiant structures are
So maybe
fortified.
even like positioning yourself like in the top area of the map, and whenever you see that there's heroes on like in this area that are showing and this area that are showing,
Are scanning.
um, it would make like a lot more sense for you to just pressure the top tower. Um, I see that you are like going in the enemy jungle and like getting that farm. I like that. I think that makes a lot of sense. Because you're taking away resources from them. It's cool.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So at this stage, right? I see that you keep like shipping out salves. I think that's good, but there's like better items that can like help you just like have like better sustenance. But at this stage, after that big like team fight in this area of the map, I didn't see your team taking any objectives, which is unfortunate because that's the best time to sort of do it, right? Like that's the best time to gain map control and put pressure on the enemies. Um, and the longer you wait to do something like that against a lineup like this, the harder it's gonna be for you guys to close the game.
Coin for me. Tis mine.
Should be an easy kill, I think. Okay, never mind. Uh, okay. Okay, so you see that there's enemy heroes. I'm guessing like most of them are just like uh between these two towers. So you kind of realize that and you back off a little bit. Um, I think that's fine. Disruptor pops an ulti and doesn't work out. So this is probably a good time for you guys to go back. That's unfortunate. Um, okay. Okay, and you go for a Solar Crest right after. Fine. I would have still honestly preferred getting a pipe um after getting your axe.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Because I think the main problem that you guys have as a team right now is just survivability. And although like Necro has a Guardian
Radiant's bottom
Greaves,
tower is
I
under
don't think
attack.
that's enough for your team. I'm just gonna quickly like look at what the enemies have, right? So, Witch Doctor already has a point booster, an Ogre Axe, and a Bracer. So their position five is position 5 or 4 is already like super tanky. So that means the like if or when you guys do have fights, it's gonna take a lot longer for you to kill these heroes than it normally would have. DP's rushing. Um, what item is this again? I forget. Uh, do I know what it's called? Right, a Lotus Orb. Yeah. You have Spectre who's rushing a Radiance. All the more reason for you to get a pipe, honestly. Um, Sniper already has a Mjolnir. Um, Scary. And you have Sky who's doing mostly just magic damage.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
There's some games that like you can afford to get away with a build like this, and this is a standard Visage item build, right? And I don't blame you for that. Um, but it's really important for you to realize like where the majority of like enemy damage output is coming from. If it's like physical damage, like you itemize for that by getting Crimson Guard. If it's magic damage, like you itemize by getting like- obviously like these are things that
Radiant's
you
middle
know
tower
already,
is
but
under
I'm
attack.
um just reiterating it. Okay. Okay. You go back into fight. Unfortunately, your line gets picked off, but that's not a big deal. I think overall, um, that was favored. Like I think that was dire favored, so it's fine. Hmm. Okay, your Necro gets picked off. Unfortunate. Okay, so you queue up of Vlad's next. Okay.
Dire are scanning.
Okay. Okay, so Spec has a Radiance. Um, Witch Doctor almost has his Ags. So they like even though you're getting pretty strong, like the enemies are probably getting stronger. Like even though it doesn't seem like it now, in terms of net worth, like you are number one on the net worth. But that's also because I think you have the Midas, and I think you've outleveled I think most of them. Yeah, Spectre's still level 13, so that's probably why. And you have, okay, so you have 6 kills and you haven't died yet. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. At this point, um, I would have, like I said earlier, like I would have liked for you to have a pipe. I know it sounds annoying, like having said it like maybe for the fifth time now. Um, I would have ideally like for you to go for a pipe, and then maybe right after getting a pipe, um, it would make a lot it would make a lot of sense for you guys to maybe smoke and go for a gank right now. Try to find a pick off. Um, you would normally expect I obviously like the fog of war is off right now. Um, but like you would assume that the enemy heroes are like in either of these two areas of the map. Um, so I would highly recommend either you like purchasing a smoke or asking your allies to purchase a smoke and just go for like try to find like one or two pickoffs. And I'm sure like it would be very easy for you guys to kill them at this stage. And once you do that, it would be very easy for you to also secure Roche, because you already have a solar crest. So it would be very like quick for you guys to do. But so far like it seems like very like passive play. And like I obviously like don't blame anyone for that. Um, it's just that you have to keep in mind that there's like certain timings that you need to follow. Now that you have Spectre with the Radiance, like it's gonna be very difficult for you to have like team fights. Okay, Lion has a blink. Okay. So in general,
Are scanning.
um I think in general like the enemies might be like it's pretty much on par in terms of like survivability on both teams. But if you guys got a pipe, then it's like an easy win for you guys in terms of team fight right now. Okay. So you guys are just sticking around this area of the. I'm assuming that you guys are going for a smoke gank now. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. Okay. You find Witch Doctor. Not the ideal pickup, but um, you know, something is better than nothing. And then you guys stick around in the bottom area of the map. Okay.
For me.
I honestly do think that um even like disregarding the item build, after that, after getting that Witch Doctor kill, ideally you guys should have moved to um just gonna rewind it a little bit. Ideally you want to have moved to this side of the map. Whoa, what the fuck is happening here? What? Um Ideally like you wanna secure this area of the map, maybe pressure this lane, try to get this tower as well. I don't think it's necessary for you to pressure this area of the map for the time being. It's gonna pause. Um, and try to maybe find another pickoff in this area. If that's not possible, that's fine. But still, try to um, like take down this tower and then move towards the Roche pit and try to secure Roche. Um, because I think for you guys, um, fighting without fighting without a pipe right now um, is probably not a good idea. And I think having that like extra insurance with an Aegis like would just help you guys like win the team fight finally. Okay, so a fight breaks down. Spectre haunts in. You guys get a kill on the Witch Doctor. Okay. Lion dies in the process. That's okay. Um, yeah, I mean, unfortunately, you're not able to pick off any of their core heroes. Um,
Radiant structures are fortified.
okay, yeah. Yeah, I was kind of expecting that, to be honest. It is I do understand that it is pretty hard um for your lineup to um go and kill sniper and go and kill like their backline. Um, but even just realizing that um probably like shouldn't motivate you to fight under that tower. I think that's a like a bad decision. Obviously like from Monkey King side to have Wukong set up right on that tower, but sniper is obviously like way out of the Wukong's reach. So it's also like partially like your team's fault. Um, okay. Necro goes for a 4 staff. Diane has a Glimmer Cape. Cool. Uh, Disruptor is also going for a Glimmer Cape. Unfortunately, like it does seem like at this stage, you guys have lost most of your advantage, just because the enemy team is getting a lot tankier and is also building um, um, better utility items than your team is. Um, and also it's Spectre, man. Spectre is like gets super fucking strong like in the late game. Okay. Um, yeah, unfortunately your Necro doesn't have a lot of farm. And so that's obviously like pulling you guys down as well. I don't know if this is the best move, to be honest. I have a feeling that they have vision all over this area. Wait, let me see. Okay, no, they don't, but I mean they do see you coming now. Um, okay.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Okay, so some pretty bad misplays from Disruptor, unfortunately. Um, but nothing you can really do there, right? Um, Another item that I would have considered if I was you. So, so like I mentioned earlier, right? The main issue that you guys will probably face right now is just survivability during team fights. And I think that's something that you want to prioritize more than like tower hitting, right? So the build that you're going is primarily like a tower hitting and like a sieging build. But in this game, I would have um, rather have you go more for like a survivability and like team fighting build. Um, so in this case, instead of rushing, instead of getting an assault as your next item, I would have probably even considered going for a 4 staff. I know that's an item that like you would never even consider going as a visage, but right here, just like seeing you get burst down by the Skyrat because he was able to lock you down with a Rod of Atos. He also happens to have a clumsy net. So although you do have Necro with um, a 4 staff. Um, I don't think that's enough for you to survive his entire ulti. And ideally, like, you would have rather had your lion go for a 4 staff instead of like dagger. But everything like obviously can't be perfect. And that's why like when I play pubs, like I tend not to rely on my teammates as much. I try to like see how best I can fit in and like how best I can adapt. Um, like even if like it comes to the item build that I go or like the skill build that I go. Okay, so you guys get team wiped. Um, fine.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle
Um,
tower has fallen.
okay, so before before the Death Prophet had the axe, I do think that um it could have been a pretty even fight. Uh, but just because she was given the space and the resources to finish her axe, it's gonna be a lot like it's more or less an impossible game to come back into. It's still like highly possible,
Dire's middle tower is under
um,
attack.
but not with the items that your team has, unfortunately.
Dire's middle tower has fallen. Dire's middle barracks are under attack. Dire's middle barracks has fallen. Dire's middle barracks are under attack has fallen.
Okay, I'm gonna skip through this a little bit. Okay, I think this is the first time that I'm seeing you in the top lane. Um,
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom
teams.
has fallen.
Okay.
Was expecting competition.
I mean, unfortunately, your team decided to go in and fight there. I don't think it was the best
Dire's
idea.
bottom tower is under attack.
Um, so
Dire's
it seems like the game
has
is pretty
fallen.
much over now, and there's like not much you can really do.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom barracks
Okay.
are under attack. Dire's bottom barracks has fallen.
And obviously with exorcism and axe, they're gonna be able to finish off your base pretty quickly. Which is something that like you should kind of expect with
Dire's
their
middle
lineup.
tower has fallen.
Okay.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
I'm still very surprised that you're still on top of the net worth chart even after um
This'll come in handy.
losing all of those team fights.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
So you do get a pick off. Okay, this is probably the best time for you guys to go Roche, and I hope you do.
Radiant are scanning.
Okay, you do. Amazing. Okay, you get Roche.
Your
Good.
shrine has fallen to the dire.
I do think that you could have gotten Roche like 15 to 20 minutes earlier though, but I'm glad you guys did finally end up getting it.
Dire's courier has
Middle
been
is
killed.
missing.
Okay.
Resurgence.
Wait, what just happened there? Shit. I missed that. Did your Necro just buy back? Oh, he gets picked off. Okay, fine. Okay, okay. And I guess he buys back immediately after that. That's unfortunate. I mean, your Necro is also like not. I don't know what he's doing with like 2,400 gold in the bank. Um, it's kind of silly. He's also getting a blink. That's really unfortunate. Um, the all chat is out. Fucking hilarious. Um, it's
Dire's top tower. Dire's top tower has fallen. Dire's top tower is under
I
attack.
do think in general, um,
Dire's structures are fortified.
not just you, but like your entire team could have itemized a lot better. Um, I would have ideally liked to see the lion with a force staff instead of a blink dagger, just so you can like save whoever is getting gone on. I think disruptor going for a glimmer cake makes sense. I would have definitely not gone for a blink dagger on necro so late into the game. Um, knowing that you guys are at a disadvantage as well. Like this is probably the last item I would have gone for if I was in it. Um, um, okay, okay. So I mean, I think the main issue with this specific fight is that there's no detection on your guys' side, I think, and that's why you're not able to pick off the witch doctor. Um, I mean, ideally, like your support should have had that taken care for you, but you know, such is life. Like you don't get the perfect teammates. Okay, okay, that seems like the game is over now.
Dire's top barracks are under attack.
I do think that you guys had a really good chance of actually winning the game. Um, but like I mentioned earlier, right? Um, your the timing for your lineup was probably around like the 30 to like 40-minute mark. Um, and ideally you should have gained a lot more map control than you guys already had. Um, and possibly secured Roche like much earlier as well. Um, and itemize a little better for more survivability and team fights, and a lot more maneuverability like during these team fights. Um, but I mean, I'm guessing like you play a Visage a lot. Um, it shows because you have a pretty standard item build, like which I think would work in like most games. Unfortunately, like it obviously didn't work in this game, but it could also be like a bunch of other factors, right? Like including like your teammates not getting the right items, for example. And I can clearly see that like it was a party of three, um, with the Lion and the Necro included. Uh, that. Um, so yeah, I think key takeaways would be realizing like what your role in the game is, and it obviously varies, right? Like even if you do consistently play mid, sometimes like you don't always play the same type of mid. Like um, let's say I play mid Ember, right? It's not always that I go like a utility build, rushing rushing whale and rushing sorry, not whale, rushing vessel and rushing Yules, and then rushing ads right after. Like sometimes I might have to go like a pure damage, like physical DPS route as Ember. So similarly, like I think the same concept applies for like almost every hero. And in this game, like you just have to realize that your job in this game was to basically create pressure in the early game to mid game, and you do that by obviously itemizing for it, right? Like by getting drums, um, getting a solar crest, maybe even getting a pipe, which ideally like you shouldn't have to do. Your necro should have done that. Um, but sometimes like that's what it's about, right? Like you kind of just have to accept the fact that your team isn't going to do a certain thing and kind of have to do it. Um, that's it. I think um I think I pointed out like the thing with the magic stick in the early game, and I would probably also have skilled um is it soul assumption? Yeah, soul assumption. Like I think by level 7, like maybe having two levels in soul assumption for this specific lane like would have made a lot of sense. I do think that you could have had a pretty like even um laning matchup against DP. I know that you did kill her at some point, but um all of these things could have probably helped you push her out of the lane, um, and maybe even get like more than one kill on her. So yeah, that's it. Um, I think that's pretty much all I have to say. Um, I'm sure that like I have these kind of games as well where um, you can't really do something, like you can't really do anything beyond a point. But there's always like something, that you can do. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I hope you stuck around for the whole thing. Um, I understand like if you weren't able to, it was a pretty long replay review with like very repetitive inputs. But yeah. Okay. Um, I think I'll probably play a game or two now. Before I head to bed. Hmm. Um, but yeah. Hopefully I wasn't like too harsh with the replay review. I was just trying to give you like very honest feedback. I'm also not a very proficient Visage player myself, but I have seen a lot of people play Visage, and I have played a couple of like Visage games. Um, and that's my general approach for like most heroes as well, is to just itemize, um, depending on um, your team and like uh, the items that your team is going, um, and ensuring that you have a good answer for the enemy lineup is like basically like what I do in most games.
Your turn to battle. 5 seconds remaining.
I think I have a contract left for the day. Not sure. Okay, I have to deal 22,000 physical damage. Uh,
Your turn to pick. 5 seconds remaining.
I guess I'll go Ricky.
I speak softly, but carry a sharp knife.
Prepare for battle.
Dude, I don't need so many tangos, but thanks.
I go in silence.
Um,
Quickly,
okay, I don't know if I should go for a magic stick or When was the last time you played?
See no evil.
30 seconds to battle.
It's in the bag.
Ah, okay, makes sense.
Quickly. Yes.
Hmm. So if I'm against an SF,
Smoke.
I don't think I really wanna even get a Culling Blade, to be honest. Like I just wanna get stats
Quiet as cat's feet.
um to be a little more survivable. Okay, yeah.
Shadows.
So that
As
uh
you bid.
actually no, fuck it, it's fine. I'll go for Culling Blade. Okay.
Oh yes.
Oh, effect of the block. Oops.
At your service. Post haste. Like a whisper.
Oh fuck, I fucked that up. Oh no.
Your middle tower is under attack.
That was unfortunate.
Oh look, it's me. Oh, as you bid. Quietly now. See here. I sprint. Quiet as cat's feet. I grow stronger. Not for the likes of you. I go in silence. A new target. Here I am. Dispatch. As you bid.
Okay.
Oh yes. Silent like smoke. My cunning grows. Whom shall I kill? Quietly now. Oh look, it's me. Since you put it like that. See no evil. Quickly, quickly. You're mine now. Like a whisper. Post haste. Silent as smoke. Yes.
Oh, he's going for a bracer. Okay. Interesting.
At your service.
I might go for another set of
They'll
uh
never see this
another
coming.
Wraith Band actually.
I sprint.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Cash on delivery.
Bounties, guys.
Like a whisper. Whom shall I kill?
SF is missing.
Post haste.
I probably didn't need so much regen, to be honest.
Death's bounty. Quickly, quickly.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Quiet as a cat's meat. Dispatched.
He probably has a ward now. No, he doesn't.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Steeled and tempered. I go in silence. Oh, look, it's me.
SF is missing.
Oh, as you bid. As you bid. Defend yourself.
Kinda wish I could have helped, but
I fight. Since you put it like that.
oh, he has a ward here somewhere.
Quickly.
Need to figure out where.
Post haste.
Treads.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Ooh, that hurts, man.
Quiet as a cat's meat.
Thank you.
Quietly now.
Can we jump on him, please? Fuck.
I go in silence.
Ooh. That was close, for sure.
I sprint. No thanks.
Thanks.
Oh, as you bid.
Thank you.
Coin for me.
Queen is going to bottom, careful. I have TP. Oh man. I don't actually know.
Here I am. As you bid. At your service.
I do wish I could pressure them. Ah,
Quickly.
can we go on him, please? Where the fuck is he? Uh,
See you. Oh, look, it's me.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Bastards.
oh no 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 no. Oh fuck! Thank God. Fuck, that was
Quiet
close.
feet.
I have no HP right now. Careful.
I owe you one. I sprint.
Can I get that item, please? I'll probably go bottom, I guess. I'll go bot. You can stay mid.
Like a whisper. Oh, yes, denied. Quietly now. Oh, as you bid. Dispatched. I'm under attack. No.
Oh, no TPs from anyone? Fuck. That's too bad. That is too bad.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
Let me take another stab at this.
Guess I'll just stay mid.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
Careful. Well played. Fuck, help me, help me. Nice.
Your bottom
I'm okay with
tower
that.
is under attack.
Can we get more wards, please, guys? Sentries. I can buy observers myself.
Tower is under attack.
Nice. Well played. Seems like we're making some sort of a comeback. I'll take whatever I can get.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Dude. I can't help you, you're dead. Sorry. safe. I'm coming, I'm coming. Help him, guys, please. Nice. Well played. Well played. He might just be dead.
Structures are fortified.
I have no mana. It's okay, back.
Your
Right.
top tower is under attack. Your bottom tower is
Oh
under
fuck.
attack.
He has an axe now. It's watered.
Your bottom tower is under attack. Your bottom tower is under attack.
Careful, man.
Your middle tower is under
Oh my god. Please don't kill me.
Your middle tower has fallen. Your top tower is under attack.
Whom shall I kill? Feel my steel. Expect to
Your
see
middle
less of
tower
me
is under attack.
as you bid. Oh look, it's at your service.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, as you bid.
Can we gank AM, please?
I sprint.
Your top tower is under attack.
Can I get the imp claw?
Since you put it like that. Post haste.
Oh fuck.
Not going anywhere.
Help him, guys.
Wasn't nice.
That's a pretty late TP, man. Kinda useless now. I'm coming soon. On my way.
Your top tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Your bottom tower is under attack.
Quickly, real quickly.
Your bottom tower has fallen.
Ah, fuck. What?
Post haste. Quietly now. Here I am. Full services rendered. See no evil. Since you put it like that. Feel my steel. Yes.
Nice try. Nice, nice, nice. Well played.
Illusion.
Your top tower is under attack. Your top tower has fallen.
Like a whisper.
Dire's structures are
Oh, as you
fortified.
bid.
Careful.
Oh, yes. Target. The veil is drawn.
I don't have the best damage output, to be honest, right now.
Dispatch.
Well,
Oh, look, it's me. I strike. Death's bounty.
careful, guys, careful. Back.
Here I am.
I feel like I should probably go for a Basho, but I kind of want to go.
Quickly.
Sorry, I should probably go for BKB, but I kind of want to go for a Basho. Or this.
Silent as smoke. Like a whisper. Since you put it like that.
Nice.
I sprint. Oh, how I strike. See no
Bot rune.
evil. Quietly now.
Oh shit, he is way stronger than I am. Might go a halberd actually. There's no one else on my team who's going to.
Quiet as cat's feet. I go inside.
Okay, he's bot.
Quick hit. Steeled and tempered. Yes. You're mine now. At your service.
Nice. Yeah, I'll take the mid tower. On my way, careful. Fuck. Need to go back, go back, go back, go back. We can't fight this. Fuck. Ah, fucking hell, man.
Your middle tower is under attack. Your middle tower is under attack.
Could you?
Your middle tower is under attack. Your middle tower is under attack. Your middle tower has fallen. Your top tower is under attack.
Since you put it like that.
Your top tower is under attack. Your top tower has fallen.
We'll take that.
The enemy's middle tower has fallen.
Post haste. I sprint.
They might rush.
Defend yourself.
I mean, there's no way we can fight into rush, unfortunately.
Peekaboo.
Let's push. We can't. I don't think we can fight.
Has fallen to the dark.
Power is mine.
Careful.
Quietly now.
Get back, get back. High ground, please. High ground.
Quickly.
There's a repair kit. If you guys want to use it.
Dispatched. Oh yes. See no evil. Faster and stronger. Oh, as you bid. Silent as smoke. At your service.
Yo, help me, you fucking idiot.
They who live by the wand shall die by my blade.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
Ah, fuck. Alright, this is probably over now. Jesus. Cool. Got something.
Your middle tower is under attack. Your bottom tower is under attack. Your bottom tower has fallen.
I've been here the whole time. Oh, as you bid. I go in silence. Silent as smoke. Yes. Whom shall I kill?
Nice. Fucking nice.
As you bid.
Just sit back and don't do shit. Perfect.
Here I am.
Ah.
Dispatched. I see
Nothing like a little failure to sharpen your aim.
at your service. Quiet as a cat's feet.
Radiant
Can someone use a fucking repair kit, please?
Quietly now. Quickly, quickly. See no evil. Who shall I kill?
Dire structures are fortified.
Attack. Expect to see fear. Quiet.
Enemy's middle tower has fallen.
Use your ulti, man. Use your fucking ulti. Holy shit.
Where's the rush? I sprint. At your service. Whom shall I kill?
Take the outpost.
Quickly, quickly. Dispatched. As you bid.
I guess we're not getting the outpost.
Where's the rush? See no evil. Quietly now.
Get back, get back.
Silent like smoke.
I have TP.
Feel my steel. Silent as smoke.
Probably better to go BKB instead.
Like a whisper. I sprint. My cunning grows. Yes. Here I am. Oh, as you bid. Post haste. Oh, yes.
Take the outpost.
Like that. Quickly.
I mean, we can't do shit, man. Unfortunately.
Can't wait. Quiet as cat's meat.
Get this, I suppose.
Steel.
Not too bad.
Yes.
Abyssal on NS.
Denied.
Fucking great. Use the repacket, please.
Are under attack.
Repacket, repacket.
Radiant's
Use it,
structures
fuck.
are fortified. Your middle barracks are under attack. Your middle barracks has fallen. Your middle barracks are under attack.
What the actual fuck? Yo! What? Fuck you, man. Idiot.
Your bottom tower is under attack. Your middle barracks has fallen. Your bottom tower has fallen. Your bottom barracks are under attack. Your bottom barracks has fallen. Your bottom barracks has fallen.
You're not going anywhere.
Your middle tower is under attack. Your middle tower has fallen. Your middle tower has fallen. Dire victory.
Fuck. No. Well, I guess it's fine because my contract got renewed anyways. So I probably wouldn't have gotten counted. Oh. Okay, I did manage to surpass the 22k physical damage output. So that's good, I guess. I think I'll go for another one. Call it a day.
Your turn to ban. 5 seconds remaining. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds.
Okay.
Your turn to pick.
Maybe not the best hero against this lineup.
10 seconds remaining.
I don't mind Lynx.
The battle begins.
Certainly. The arrow of war is loosed. Yes.
MK is there. MK is there.
Straight as an arrow. Yes. None quicker. Yes. Better to run than curse the road. Set you alight. No. Light my way.
Wait, is it the same SF that was in my last game? I feel like it is. Or are people going? Yeah, it is. That's funny.
Goes my bones. I alight to battle.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Yes. None quicker. No. I fire my arrow. Straight as an arrow. Yes.
SF is missing.
Radiant structures are fortified. Your middle tower is under attack.
Pretty good item.
Your middle tower is under attack. Your middle tower is under attack.
Mid missing. Careful.
Dire structures are fortified.
Ah, come on, man.
Your middle tower is under attack. Your middle tower is under attack.
The bone fletcher burns again.
I'm coming.
Enemy's top tower has fallen.
Let's push these.
None quicker. Indeed, they will burn. Compound damage. On target.
Dire's structures are fortified.
An arrow lights my
The
way.
enemy's bottom tower has fallen.
Bloody creeps.
To the Hogan lands. Straight as an arrow. Yes. Better to run than curse the road.
Your top tower is under attack.
Attack. Shot dead.
Your top tower is under attack.
Firing.
Your top tower is under attack.
On target. Notched and ready. Think.
We can't. We can't. Fucking chill.
Yes. Certainly. I alight to battle. Light my way. Your flesh is weak. I'll see you burn. Hellfire. Swear it.
Invisibility.
None quicker. Point the way. Yes. Straight flight.
Fresh mate.
An arrow lights my way. Yes. None quicker. Let's fly.
What? Dude, what are you doing there? They obviously have vision.
None quicker. Where to? Certainly.
Puck out!
Yes.
Oh,
Light my way. Yes. Straight as an arrow. An arrow true.
Dire's structures are fortified.
I alight to battle. Straight shooter. Not yet. Certainly.
only for ranged heroes, not all.
Light my way. None quicker. Yes. Fight the way.
Oh, fucking hell. Come on, man. Bullshit.
Your top tower is under attack.
Rest consume orchid malevolence. Indeed. I alight to battle. Bullseye. Notched and ready. Yes. Attack. Firing. Where to? Better to run than curse
under attack.
Better to run
The enemy's
than
top
curse the
tower
road.
has fallen.
Certainly.